So, a very warm welcome to all of you. This is a very new channel, and I hope that this journey that we start today will lead us our destiny to become a pro coder. So, the videos in this channel will be related to different programming languages and the skills required to ace our college semesters and placements. I hope that this video will be helpful to all the students as I have given my best efforts to make all the presentations, and I hope that this will really help you a lot in your future studies to learn the programming languages better and develop your skills. So without further ado, let's move into the video. So the first topic that I've taken is flowchart algorithm and pseudocode. Now you will be wondering why I have not taken any programming languages like C, C++, Java. Well, I have not taken this because this channel is going to be for the students, those who are beginner, to the students, those who have a coding background. So as it is also for beginners, I hope that these beginners will really need some basic knowledges to go into the depth of the programming languages. So according to me, the most basic chapter that I have taken is this flowchart algorithm and pseudocode, because before doing any kind of programming languages, we have to have some pre-code planning in our minds. Like whenever we will be doing any of the languages, we will be given different problems, different questions, and we have to solve that. So before solving, we have to develop that ability to think how will the process work, which step should be required, and how that step should be organized. So we have to think about that. This chapter will really help us to develop our mind to have that ability to think how will the processes work. And I am really sure that when we will do all the questions, we will go to the depth of this chapter. The programming languages that we will be learning in our future will be very easy for us. We will have a good grip in that, and not only that, the companies like Accenture, TCS, Wipro, they also take this chapter into consideration when they call for placements. The program they ask will be a bit high level one, so we will start with the basic and we will move to that high level program. You will see that you will be able to solve the questions very easily from yourself and need not to take any help. And if you even need, then you can DM me personally in Telegram or in the group that you have been added to. And also the students, those who are watching it in YouTube, you can join our Telegram channel that is pinned in the description box. All the notes and everything will be shared over there, and I will be personally talking to the students over there. So if you need any guidance, you can ask me over there. So this chapter, flowchart, algorithm and pseudocode, this is such a chapter that I am sure that the students, those who are coming from CBSE and ICSE background, they have already done this flowchart and algorithm in class 6 to 7, and it is a very basic chapter. But at that age, we didn't had that idea that why is this necessary, why are we studying this. But now we will see the implementation of that knowledge. And also the students, those who don't know anything, I will be discussing everything from the basics, so you will be able to understand everything. Now the new term that is coming is pseudocode. So pseudocode is very important for our placements, our semesters, because this is a basic structure that we will be understanding. And if we can understand the pseudocode and the flowchart, basically these two terms, and we can solve the problems through pseudocode and flowchart, we will be able to solve all the problems and questions that will be coming in our programming languages only by just doing the syntaxes and the keywords and the basic things of that programming language itself. Also, I want to tell it that if you are not being able to understand what is flowchart, algorithm and pseudocode, why do we need to acquire knowledge about this, then let me tell you that when we will be moving to programming languages from the next classes, you will be seeing that these programming languages will be helpful to us in our day-to-day lives, like the apps we are using, the operating systems we are using. All of this is made up of these programming languages only, and we will be seeing that how important that programming language is in our day-to-day life. And also, if you do not know, then let me tell you that in this present technology, till date there is no such technology in which human interference is not there. So human interference means a programmer should be involved in any operating system, apps, all such IT companies which are based upon all this huge network needs a human interference, that is a programmer. So as you're starting your journey to become a programmer and seeing your career in programming languages, then you need to know the flow of programs. Then only you can run a program, you can write a code and run the program. So that's why I think this flowchart algorithm and pseudocode will help you to brush that skills up and help you to develop that ability to think from yourself, that how to run that code, how to write that code. So about programming languages, I will be not discussing it today, because in the next class I will be telling what are programming languages, why do we need them, what are the basic scenario in today's market. Everything we will be discussing in the next class, but today's class will be just about this topic. So the next slide will be about we will be going into the chapter, and the first topic is flowchart, and we will be seeing what are flowcharts. So flowchart is the pictorial representation of steps required to complete a particular work in sequential order. Now, as we all know that whenever we do any work, we have to do it in a sequential order, because whenever we do a work, that sequential order plays a vital role for that work. Let us take an example, like you are making a delicious dish and the recipe you are searching in a book or in YouTube, and you will see that the ingredients that are added to that dish is one after the another, and you have to do it in sequential order only, because if you do not do it in sequential order, the dish will not taste so good as it will be intended to. So any work needs a sequential based steps that we need to follow. So here we will see many programs, many problems, many questions which we need to solve through sequential steps, and flowchart is the pictorial representation. Here we will use some shapes so that it gets inculcated in our mind very easily first, and second also that when we represent it with the help of some pictures, it will help us to understand the problem easily. So that's why flowchart is very much important for us, and we will see how flowcharts help us in different programs. So first is the start shape. So this is an oval kind of shape, and the start is written. So this shape will be always required for us to start a program. This shape is also required for us to end a program. Next will be input, and this is a parallelogram, as you can see. So whenever we are making a recipe, we have to give some ingredients. Now starting means you can say that we are going to start a process. So that case you will give this oval box and let's start. Now you have to give some ingredients into it. You have to add everything, all the spices and all the masalas that you will need. So for that case you have to give this input box, and inside that you have to write whatever you have to add into it. Next is this connectors, and these are the arrows which will be helping us to give us the direction of the program. Like first of all we are starting, then the arrow will go to the next step, that is we will turn on the stove, and then the arrow will go to the next step. What we are doing step by step, the arrow will direct us to the correct direction in which the process is being done. Next is this processing box. What is processing? If we take the example of this cooking, the processing box will be required when we will cook the whole dish together, when we will mix the dish together, any work we are doing. For that case we will use the processing box. And the next box will be this rhombus, which will be used for taking a decision. So next will be flowchart for making Maggie. Now most of the students know how to make a 5-minute Maggie, and even if you don't know, here I have given the whole process to make a Maggie, and also I have given a small pic of it so that you get more interested into the topic how to make Maggie. So first you can see that this start button I have used, because this oval button will be used in start. Next what I have done, see, you can see the connector arrow that is giving us the direction that after start what we will do, we will take a packet of Maggie and a vessel. So we are taking it like we are inputting something. For that case we have taken this parallelogram box. Again this connector is directing us to the next step, pour water into the vessel. Again we are adding something, so we are inputting something in the vessel, we are pouring some water. Next this connector is connecting to the downward direction, and here is a processing box, that is a rectangular box. Heat the water. So here some process is being done, some work is being done, so the water is being heated over here. Next turn on the stove and put the vessel. So we will turn on the vessel, and the vessel with the water we will keep up on the stove. Okay, so here a decision box is being taken, that if water is boiling, we have to check that whether the water is boiling or not. If yes, then we will see that there are two sides of it. The right side is for yes and the left side is for no. If the water is boiling, then we will go to this step, add the Maggie and masala into the vessel. So we will check that if the water is boiling, then we will add the Maggie and the masala, and we will check that if it is not boiling, we will go to the left side and we will wait for some time for the water to boil. So if it is boiling, then we will add the Maggi and masala, and what we will do, we will serve the Maggi and we are going to the exit. If it is no, then we will wait for some time for the water to boil, and we can see that this arrow is not directing us to exit because this is not the exit. Our Maggi is still not cooked for this left side. So we will see this arrow is directing us this side, this side, this side, and it is connecting us over here. So after waiting for some time, we will go over here and again we will go downwards and see if the water is boiling or not. So this process will continue for several times until this water is boiling. Like this, our flowchart actually works. I think now you have a basic idea how to write a flowchart and what is its use. Now next we will see more programs of flowchart, but before that we will be seeing some basic terms that will be used in flowchart. So the basic terms that will be used is loop. What is a loop? A loop in a computer program is an instruction that repeats until a specified condition is reached. So what is a loop? Now let me tell you an example why is loop very important. When we will be doing big programs, we have been given a question to print a name for 1,000 times. So we will not print the name for 1,000 times. It will be convenient for a programmer to write some few statements and that name will be printed 1,000 times itself. That is a loop. So if you can remember the previous step I'm showing you, this is a loop. See, this is going over here, again it is connecting over here, again it is going, again connecting. What is the condition for the loop to exit? The condition is if water is boiling. So if the water is boiling, we will go out of the loop and we will exit after performing these steps. So we have got an example what is a loop. Next is if else statement. If else statement is such that ये हुआ तो ये करना और ये नहीं हुआ तो फिर ये करना. That is the case. आज बारिश हुआ तो स्कूल नहीं जाएंगे और बारिश नहीं हुआ तो फिर स्कूल जाएंगे. So अगर बारिश हुआ, that is if it is raining, we will not go to the school. और अगर बारिश नहीं हुआ, this is the else part. What we will do? We will go to the school. So ये है if and else. अगर ये हुआ तो इसको करना है और नहीं हुआ, this is the else part, तो फिर उसको करना है. तो if else statement, it gives a condition that if it is fulfilled, then certain action will be performed, else something else will be performed. We will see some basic examples of this, so no worry, we will go into the chapter and we will be able to understand all the basic concepts of it. Next will be algorithm, and this is the simplest part of the program. This will be very easy. A person who will know the process and will be able to write in English will be able to write an algorithm. It is as easy. So an algorithm is a stepwise representation of a solution to a given program. So first step for our algorithm will be put fresh water in a kettle. I know everyone knows how to make a tea. So put fresh water in a kettle. Heating the water, place tea leaves or bags into the teapot or cup, stir in honey or sugar to sweeten the tea, serve the tea. That's it. And we do not need to use any technical skills for it, nothing. We just have some basic knowledge of English and we can write the program. So algorithm is not so much of needed. The most needed part is flowchart and pseudocode, so we will see that. Next comes about pseudocode, and this is very important. Pseudocode is a very new term for all of you, so we have to understand this. Pseudocode is an informal high-level description of an algorithm. So pseudocode is itself an algorithm, but this is a high-level algorithm. We will be using some technical skills over here, using everyday wording only, like English will be only used, but molded to appear similar to a simplified programming language. So like a programming language is written, we will not go into so much depth, but we will write a simple programming, like a simplified programming language with the help of day-to-day wording only. A pseudocode is an informal way of writing a program. However, it is not a computer program. It is just written to understand the steps of the computer program. It only represents the algorithm of the program in natural language and mathematical notations. Besides, there is no particular programming language to write a pseudocode. So this pseudocode is only written for our convenience to just understand the flow of the execution of the program. Next will be write a program to input the name from user and print hey with the name. So the user is writing that my name is hello. The program should execute and give us an output written as hey hello. This will be the whole program. So at first we are starting with this oval box called start, and then this arrow is directing us, connecting us to an input box called input name. Now it is asking for a name that the user have to give over here. The user have to input over here. This is a connector which is again giving us to print. So this input box is also used for printing. Like the box that is used for giving input will help us to print output also. Like we can print something, we can give an output of something. So this box will only be used. This connector is connecting us to print hey name. So you can see that hey is written and after that name. What name? This name which is given by the user. So we will give this name over here. Like let us give an example. Like we are starting the program. The computer is asking for a name from the user. Let us take a name called XYZ. So here it will be the output will be print hey XYZ and then the program will exit. This is the end of the program. So simple program. Next will be pseudocode of this program. We will see how to write a pseudocode. So we will start the program. Now the computer is reading the name. Okay, print hey name and stop the program. As easy as that. We are just using English words and we are writing the whole steps with the help of a sentence, and it is very easy. Next, we will go to a program called write a program. So WAP is used for write a program to input two numbers and find the sum. So this is again a very interesting program. First, we are taking start oval box connector, input a number n1. Now what is n1? N1 is a variable. What is a variable? I will not be discussing so much. Assume n1 to be a box. So input a number, like the user is giving a number and the computer is putting that number in a box called n1. So n1 contains a number. Input second number n2. The second number that user is giving, the computer is putting that into this box called n2. So now we have two boxes with us. One has n1 number, one has n2 number. Now this connector is connecting for a processing box. Let s equals to n1 plus n2. Now what is s? S is another variable, another box. Now we have three boxes. S contains nothing. Till now S contains nothing. N1 contains a number, N2 contains a number, and S is still empty. So we are giving something into S. S equals to N1 plus N2. What we are doing is we are taking the number from N1 box and putting it into S. We are taking the number from N2 box and putting it into S. Now S contains both N1 number and N2 number, and we will plus it up. We will sum it up. Print the sum is S. Now the value of S will be printed over here with this statement called the sum is S. The value of S will be printed over here and the program will stop. Now let us take an example. Like the program is starting, it is telling to input a number n1. Now let us take a box called n1 and I am the user. I am giving a number called 4. So now n1 box contains the number called 4. Now input second number n2. Now I am giving another number in another box called n2 and the number I am giving is 5. Now n1 contains 4, n2 contains 5. Let s equals to, now s is another box and that is empty till now. We will give some value into it. What value we will give? We will take n1's value, that is 4, and we will give it into s. And we will take n2's value, that is 5, and we will give it into s. And we are saying that we have to sum both n1 and n2. So in the s box, we are summing both the values up, that is 4 plus 5. And print the sum is, now the output will be, the sum is, what will be the sum of it? 9. So the output that will be visible to the user is the sum is 9 and the program will stop. This is the whole execution and the flow of the program. Next program, okay, that program only we will learn with the help of pseudocode. We are starting. Read n1, read n2. Now boxes has been taken. Calculate s. Now in the s box we are summing both the values of n1 plus n2. Print the sum is, so this message will be printed, and s, what is s? This value. This value will be printed over here and we will go to end. The program is stopped. This is the whole program and this is how to write a pseudocode. Next, we will see what is the program. Write a program to check your pocket money and buy pizza if pocket money is more than 500, else buy pastries. So we collect some pocket money and at the end of the month we check what is the total amount and we buy something. So today we are on a mood to eat something good like either pizza or pastries. So we will be more happy if our amount is a larger amount, more than 500, then we will be able to enjoy this whole pizza. And if it is less than 500, then pastries would also work because it is also not a bad option. So we will start this oval box, then we will input PM. What is PM? PM is just a small denotation of pocket money. So input PM. If now it is checking with this decision box. If pocket money is greater than 500, we are checking it. Then two sides. Yes, no. Yeah, now I have seen that the pocket money is greater than 500. What we will do, we will shift to the right side. Yes, then what we will do, this is the output box. This is the input box, this is the output box. What we are doing, we are buying a pizza and we are exiting. Now we are happy because the money we have collected is now worth it and we are enjoying a full pizza. And if it is not more than 500, this condition is being false. So we will move to the left side, that is no. And what we will do, we will be satisfied with pastries only. Pastries are also a good option. So we will buy pastries and we will exit the program. This is the whole program. Next, at program only, we will understand with the help of pseudocode. Now we will start the program, we will read the pocket money. Now we will check if pocket money is greater than 500, we will buy pizza. So now we can see that this statement, if else, is used over here. So what it is denoting? अगर pocket money 500 से ज़्यादा हुआ, तो what we will do, we will buy pizza. और अगर नहीं हुआ, else, अगर ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई नहीं किया, तो हम क्या करेंगे, else पे जाएंगे और हम क्या करेंगे, buy pastries. So this is if else statement कि अगर ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई हुआ तो बहुत अच्छा, हम पिज्जा पे चले जाएंगे, और अगर ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम पेस्ट्रीज पे चले जाएंगे. तो हमारे पास दो ऑप्शंस है. तो अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो हम घर वापस खाली हाथ तो नहीं आएंगे. हमारे पास एक और ऑप्शन है जो कि बहुत खराब भी नहीं है, काम चलाने वाला है, तो फिर हम स्टॉप कर देंगे. दिस इज द होल प्रोग्राम. नाउ वी कैन सी दैट देयर इज एन इंडेंटेशन गैप ओवर हियर. दिस इज वेरी मच यूज्ड इन एवरी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस. After if, what the condition, if it is fulfilled, we will go inside if and we will do this. And if it is, the condition is not fulfilling, the condition is turning out to be false, we will go to the else part, and under this else part we have to do this. So first we will go to if, we will check if it is true, then we will go inside if and we will buy pizza. If it is false, then we will go inside else and we will write pastries. So this is how we write a pseudocode. But if we would have written this as algorithm, we would not have given this indentation gap. We would have simply written that if pocket money is greater than 500, we have to buy pizza, and if the pocket money is less than 500, we will buy pastries. But for the pseudocode, you will see that it is an informal way of writing a program only, but we need some technical knowledge to write a pseudocode. So this is how we write a pseudocode. Next program is write a program to check the greater number among two numbers. Now the user will give us two numbers and we have to check which number is greater. We will start the program and then we will take a parallelogram, input number n1. Again, that box concept has evolved, that one box is n1, input number n2, another box is n2. Now it is checking, is n1 greater than n2? क्या n1 n2 से ज़्यादा है? क्या ये greater है? Now again two sides, yes and no. If it is greater, then what we will do, print n1 is greater. और अगर n1 greater नहीं हुआ तो of course n2 greater होगा, और तो ये condition false हो जाएगा, तो हम क्या करेंगे, print n2 is greater, and then we will exit the program. So let us give two numbers. First we will start the program. Input number n1, तो n1 box में हमने क्या number दे दिया, हमने दे दिया number 5, and input into number n2. So in n2 box what we are giving a number called 7. Now it will check n1 greater than n2. So in n1 box we have 5, in n2 box we have 7. Basically it is checking, is 5 greater than 7? So that will turn out to be false. We will go to the left side, no, and we will print n2 is greater. In place of this n2, the output will be 7 is greater, and then this program will end. This is the flow of the program. Now the pseudocode of this program is start, read the number n1 and n2. If n1 greater than n2, then we will go inside if and we will print n1 is greater, or we will go into else and we will go inside else and print n2 is greater, and then we will stop the program. Next program will be write a program to check the greater number among three numbers. Now the user is giving us three numbers. So what we will do, first we have to, this is the pre-code planning कि हमको करना क्या है पहले. तो ये हमने पहले लिख के रखा है कि हमको कैसे उस चीज को कंप्यूटर को समझाना है. How we will be able to make it understand to the computer how to print the greatest number among the three. So first what we have to do, first we have to check the first number with the second number. तो पहले हम n1 और n2 को check करेंगे. If the first number is greater, then we will compare the first number with the third number. तो पहले हम n1 और n2 को check करेंगे. अगर n1 n2 से ज्यादा हो गया तो हम n1 को n3 से चेक करेंगे. अगर n1 n3 से भी ज्यादा हो गया तो n1 ऑफ कोर्स हमारा ग्रेटेस्ट नंबर हो जाएगा. इफ द फर्स्ट नंबर इज नॉट लार्जर, अगर n1 n2 से ज्यादा नहीं हुआ तो ऑफ कोर्स n1 तो कभी ग्रेटेस्ट हो ही नहीं सकता, तो हम उसका आउट ऑफ द ऑप्शन कर देंगे. फिर हम n2 को लेंगे और n2 को हम n3 से चेक करेंगे. अगर n2 n3 से ज्यादा हो गया मतलब n2 हमारा ग्रेटेस्ट नंबर हो गया, और अगर n2 n3 से ज्यादा नहीं हुआ तो n3 हमारा ग्रेटेस्ट नंबर होगा, क्योंकि n1 तो आउट ऑफ द ऑप्शन हो गया, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी n1 n2 से कम हो चुका है. तो वी विल चेक दैट इफ द नंबर इज larger, then we will compare the first number with the third number. If the first number is not larger, then we will move to the second number and compare the second number with the third number, that is n2 with n3. If the second number is larger, then the second number will be the greatest. Now if n2 is greater than n3, then n2 will be the greatest. Else the third number will be the left one, and the third number will be considered to be the greatest. So the left one number will be n3 and the n3 will be considered to be the greatest one. So here is our flow chart. So first we have taken the oval box for starting our program. Then we will take three boxes n1, n2 and n3. Now first of all we will check if n1 is greater than n2. Now if this turns out to be true, then yes, we will check if n1 is greater than n3. Then if n1 is greater than n2 also and n1 is greater than n3 also, then of course n1 will be the greatest. Okay, and if it turns out to be no, that n1 is smaller than n2, it is not greater than n2, then this condition will not be satisfied and it will move to the left side, that is no. Then n1 will be out of the box, because when n1 is not greater than n2 only, then n1 can never be the greatest one. So we will check out for n2. If n2 is greater than n3, if yes, then n2 is of course the greatest, because n2 is greater than n1 also, n2 is greater than n3 also, then n2 is the greatest. If no, then of course n3 is the greatest. For in this case also, if n1 would not have been greater than n3, then अगर n1 n2 से ज़्यादा होगा तो n2 कभी n3 से ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकता, तो उस टाइम पे हम नो पे जाएंगे और n3 को greatest प्रिंट करवा देंगे एंड देन वी विल एग्जिट द प्रोग्राम. अगर यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हो रहा होगा, पहले हम लेंगे कि n1 n2 से ज्यादा है कि नहीं. अगर n1 n2 से ज्यादा हुआ तो हम n2 तो ऑफ कोर्स n1 से कम हो गया, तो हम n1 को n3 से कंपेयर करेंगे. अगर n1 n3 से भी ज्यादा हो गया तो n1 को ग्रेटेस्ट प्रिंट करवा देंगे. और अगर n1 n3 से ज्यादा नहीं हुआ तो हम यहाँ क्यों आए हैं yes पे, क्योंकि n1 n2 से ऑफ कोर्स ज्यादा है. अगर n1 ही n2 से ज्यादा है और n1 n3 से कम हो रहा है तो ऑफ कोर्स n1 से n2 तो कभी ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि हम राइट साइड इसीलिए आए हैं क्योंकि n2 ऑफ कोर्स n1 से कम है. अगर n2 n1 से ही कम है तो n2 ऑफ कोर्स n3 से कभी ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज वी आर टर्निंग आउट टू बी नो, बिकॉज n1 इज लेस देन n3, तो इसलिए हम n3 को प्रिंट करवा देंगे. और ये सेट तो बहुत इजी है कि अगर n1 ग्रेटेस्ट नहीं हुआ तो n1 तो आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स हो जाएगा. हम n2 को पकड़ेंगे, n2 n3 से ज्यादा हुआ तो n2 को प्रिंट करवा देंगे, n2 n3 से कम हुआ तो ऑफ कोर्स n3 will be the only option left and we will print n3 is the greatest. So the pseudocode will be, first we will start the program, then we will read the three numbers. Now we will check if n1 is greater than n2. अगर n1 n2 से ज्यादा होता है तो हम फिर उसके अंदर में जो if है उसको चेक करेंगे. तो अगर n1 n3 से भी ज्यादा होता है तो क्या करेंगे, प्रिंट n1 is the greatest. अगर ये n1 n2 से ज्यादा होता है, ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ तो हम इसके अंदर तो नहीं जाएंगे, हम क्या करेंगे एल्स पार्ट के अंदर चले जाएंगे. तो अगर n1 n2 से ज्यादा नहीं हुआ तो n1 का ऑप्शन हम छोड़ देंगे और n2 n3 के जगह जाएंगे. तो if n2 is greater than n3 तो प्रिंट n2 is greatest, else print n3 is greatest and then we will exit the program. तो ये बहुत इजी है, थोड़ा सा पहली बार आपको कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लग सकता है, अच्छे से आप उसको समझिएगा तो बहुत इजी हो जाएगा. दिस इज वेरी इजी प्रोग्राम. So the next program is title program to check whether the number is odd or even. So here we will check that the number that is given by the user is odd or even. So the basic concept that lies behind is this is if the number is divided by 2 and the remainder comes out to be 0, then the number will be considered to be even, else odd. Now we will implement this idea into our flowcharts and pseudocode. So the flowchart will be like this, that we will start the program and then we will input n1, number n1, then we will take let div equals to 2. Why we will take div equals to 2? Because this n1 has to be divided by 2. Okay, so we will not write 2 several times, we will just write div, because div is another box. Like n1 is a box, we are considering div to be another box, and inside div we are giving a constant value called 2. This n1 value is a variable because user have to give this. So every time the user will execute this program, he can give several values of n1, but this div equals to 2 will always be the same because this is set by the programmer only. Now it will check, is n1 percentage div equals to 0? Now what is percentage? This percentage sign is given to check the remainder. Like we can say that we can take 7, and when we will take 7 and divided it by 2, then the remainder will be 1. So we will write that 7 percentage 2 equals to 1, because whenever we will write percentage between two numbers, that means we will divide the latter number with the first number, and whatever be the remainder, that will be the answer. So here what will be, it is taking out the percentage, is n1 percentage div. Like we will see if the remainder is 0 or not. If it is 0, then of course it is an even number, and if it is not, then it is an odd number. We will check this with the help of one number. Starting the program, and we will input a number called, let us take a number 9. Now a box is there called n1, and we have put a value called 9 into it, and let div equals to 2. So there is another box, and it has a value of 2, which we can't change. It is given by the programmer only. Now it will check, is n1 percentage div equals to 0? That means n1 has 9, so 9 percentage div means 2. So 9 divided by 2, does it give remainder to be 0? Because percentage denotes the remainder factor. So we will see that when we divide 9 by 2, it gives a remainder of 1. So this is not equals to 0, and so we will not go to the yes part, we will go to the no part, and we will print odd. We know that 9 is an odd number, and it will exit the program. Please remember this percentage symbol is used for checking the remainder, and the two numbers between which this percentage will be used, these two numbers has to be divided, and the remainder that will be coming will be the answer. So this is the whole case. Now we will see with the help of pseudocode. Now start, read the number n1. If n1 percentage 2 equals to 0, print the number is odd, else print the number is even, and stop. So the next program will be, write the program to find the nature of the roots of a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c. So quadratic equation of this form will be given to you, and you have to just put the value of a, b, c into this input box, and we have to find the discriminant of this box, and based on the discriminant we will find the nature of the roots. The students also don't know, this discriminant's value will decide the nature of the root. How? If the discriminant is greater than 0, then we will get real and distinct roots. If it is less than 0, then d is negative, and we will get the roots as imaginary roots, and if we get d is equals to 0, then real and equal roots. So how is this program executing? We will start, we will input a, b, c, and let d is equals to b square minus 4ac. So a, b, c are three boxes in which value of a, b, c will be stored. D is another box in which the value of b square minus 4ac will be stored. What is d? D is the discriminant, and inside the discriminant, the formula for this discriminant is b square minus 4ac, and inside this box the value of this whole thing will be stored in this d. Now this d is not constant, it is variable, as it is depending on BAC, which is given by the user, and it may depend every time the user is executing the program. Next we will check if d is greater than 0. If yes, then print real and distinct roots. If no, then print imaginary roots. And if none of the condition gets satisfied, that is the only condition left, is if d is equals to 0, then we will print real and equal roots, and we will exit the program. Now we will see how to do it with pseudocode. So this is start. We will start the program, then read ABC of the quadratic equation, calculate d, that is discriminant, equals to b square minus 4ac. Now if d is greater than 0, print real and equal roots. If this gets satisfied, we will go inside this. If this gets satisfied, then we will go inside this, and if both of them does not get satisfied, we will go to the else part, and then we will print real equal roots. So next we will move on to the next program, that is write a program to print the factorial of a number. Now those who don't know what is factorial of a number, factorial of a number is the multiplication of all the positive integers smaller than the number. Like we will take an example, if 5 factorial is there, this exclamation mark is used for denoting factorial. This is 5 factorial, and what will be the value of this? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and this is the value of 5 factorial, that is 120. Let us take another example, 10 factorial. Then the value will be 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and this will be the whole value of 10 factorial. So this is the concept of factorial. So we want to write a program in which the user will be giving a number, and we have to find the factorial of that number. So the flowchart will be, let's do start, then we will input a number n, and then let f equals to 1. So a number n, that is n is a box in which we will give a number that we will not give, the user will give. And let f equals to 1. Now this is again a constant. F is a box in which I'm already giving 1 as a number. Now the user cannot change that. That is given fixed by me as a programmer. So f always contained 1. Okay. Now 1 into n. What is 1 into n? N is the number that is given by the user. Now f equals to f into 1 is that f equals to 1 into that number, and this whole value is again stored in this f part. Okay, and what will happen after processing this whole thing? It will go to n equals to n minus 1. Now the value of n will be reduced by 1. Then we will check if n is less than 1, because if n turns out to be 0, we will multiply 0, and you know that anything will multiply 0 comes out to be 0. So we have to make this sure that n is not equals to 0. If n is less than 1, yes, print the factorial is. Once it comes out that it is 0, that is it is less than 1, it will print out the factorial is this. It will not go to the further step. And if it is no, then it will again go. Let us take an example, like we will see some value. Input a number, I am giving a number 5. Now f equals to 1 and f equals to, now what will happen, f already contained 1. इन f के पास already एक number था जो था 1. अब f के अंदर हम क्या करेंगे, 1 into हम 5 कर देंगे, क्योंकि n के पास जो वैल्यू था वो है 5. अब क्या करेंगे, 5 तो था, अब n का जो पहले का वैल्यू था वो था 5, बट इस बार n को हम चेंज करके क्या कर रहे हैं, 5 minus 1 कर दे रहे हैं, वो हो रहा है 4. ठीक है, तो ये चेक करेगा क्या 4 1 से लेस है, नहीं होगा, तो हम नो पे जाएंगे और फिर से हम ऊपर चले जाएंगे. फिर हम क्या करेंगे, f इक्वल्स टू, इस बार f का वैल्यू ऑलरेडी 5 है, क्योंकि हम पहले बार क्या करे थे, f को 5 असाइन कर दिए थे, 5 into 1 किए थे, तो f का वैल्यू ऑलरेडी 5 है. हम इस बार क्या कर रहे हैं, 5 into 4 कर दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि n का वैल्यू जो है वो 1 से रिड्यूस हो गया था, तो हम 5 into 4 कर दे रहे हैं. फिर ये नीचे जाएगा, 4 क्या हो जाएगा, n का जो वैल्यू होगा वो n minus 1 हो जाएगा. तो n का पहले का वैल्यू जो था वो 4 था, तो 4 minus 1 हो जाएगा, 3 हो जाएगा. तो यहाँ पे चेक करेगा क्या 3 1 से कम है, तो दैट वुड टर्न आउट टू बी नो, और फिर से ऊपर जाएगा. अब f का जो वैल्यू था वो था पहले 5 into 4 that is 20. अब ये क्या करेगा, f के अंदर 20 into 3 कर देगा, क्योंकि 5 into 4 तो था, 4 से एक घट गया था तो वो 3 हो गया था, तो 5 into 4 into 3 बोल सकते हैं हम. तो उसके बाद n क्या करेगा, फिर 1 से रिड्यूस कर जाएगा, और ऐसे ऐसे जब n का वैल्यू 1 तक आएगा, फिर 1 पे आके जब n का वैल्यू n minus 1 हो जाएगा, 1 minus 1 equals to 0, तो यहाँ पे चेक करेगा क्या 0 is less than 1, तो यहाँ पे yes कर देगा और print factorial कर देगा. हम 0 को फिर से execute नहीं करने देंगे, क्योंकि once 0 will again get multiplied with this the value of f, then it will turn out to, the whole value will turn out to be 0. तो हम इसलिए 0 को यहाँ से नहीं जाने देंगे. हम once ये 0 हो जाएगा तो हम यहाँ पे वो जो f का वैल्यू है उसको हम यहाँ पे प्रिंट करवा देंगे और एग्जिट करवा देंगे. So let's move on to the pseudocode of this program. So the pseudocode will be something like this, that we have to start the program. उसके बाद हमको read करना है, read the number n, और उसके बाद f को हमको fix कर देना है, जो value है f equals to 1. Repeat until n is less than 1. तो यहाँ पे हम इसको बोल रहे हैं that you have to repeat until this condition is being satisfied, क्योंकि यहाँ पे loop घूम रहा है. तो n जब तक 1 नहीं होता तो तब तक ये क्या करेगा, f equals to f into n करेगा और n को -1 से घटा देगा. उसके बाद फिर से ये रिपीट करेगा. Loop will go on until this condition is satisfied, and once it is satisfied it will terminate and we will exit the program. This is the pseudocode of this program. Next the program is write a program to check whether a number is prime or not. So this is a very famous program to check whether a number is prime or not. So how we will do that, prime number will only be divisible by 1 and itself. We have to check whether the number is divisible with any other number except 1 and itself. Based on the condition, we have to conclude if the number is prime or not. So let us move on to the flowchart and see how we will conclude and see the flow of the execution of the program. So this is the flowchart of the program. First we will start the program, then we will take a number n, then we will give a constant value of div, that is 2. और div 2 ही क्यों ले रहे हैं, क्योंकि 2 से पहले 1 आता है एंड एवरी नंबर इज डिविजिबल बाय 1, तो हम 1 से उसको चेक नहीं कर सकते, हम उस नंबर से खुद को भी चेक नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज एवरी नंबर इज डिविजिबल बाय इटसेल्फ. तो ये दोनों कंडीशन हम नहीं ले सकते. सो वी हैव टू टेक अ नंबर फ्रॉम 2 टू that number which is 1 less than the number that is given by the user. अगर यूजर ने 5 दिया है तो हम 2 से 4 तक चेक करेंगे कि 2 से 4 तक 5 कहीं भी डिविजिबल हो रहा है कि नहीं. अगर हो रहा है डिविजिबल देन दैट इज नॉट अ प्राइम नंबर, और अगर नहीं हो रहा है देन दैट इज अ प्राइम नंबर. तो हम यहाँ पे चेक करेंगे इज div ग्रेटर देन n, क्या 2 n से ग्रेटर है. अगर 2 जबकि n से ग्रेटर हो जाएगा, बिकॉज यहाँ div में हमेशा उतना ही वैल्यू रहना चाहिए जो n से एक नंबर कम हो. तो हम अगर yes हो जाएगा तो वो इस साइड चला जाएगा, बट यहाँ पे प्राइम हमको चेक करने के लिए नो पे जाना है, क्योंकि हम जबकि ये बड़ा हो जाएगा तो वो दूसरा चीज प्रिंट कर देगा, और जब तक ये छोटा रहेगा तब तक ये लूप घूमेगा. तो यहाँ पे अगर छोटा हुआ, लाइक आई एम टेकिंग एज n to be 5, so is 2 greater than 5? No, so we will go to no. Now we will see that is 2% div. Like how we will check that it is divisible or not? We will check the remainder. If it is 0 then it is divisible, and if it is not 0 then it is not divisible. And to check if it is prime or not, we have to see that if it is not 0, if it comes out to be 0 that means it is divisible. तो हमें चेक करना है क्या 5% 2 equals to 0, क्या 5 को 2 से डिवाइड करने से 0 होगा. अगर हो जाता है तो हम यहाँ पे तुरंत नॉट प्राइम प्रिंट कर देंगे. We will just print this statement not prime. And if it turns out to be false, what we will do? We will go to the no side, and what we will do, 2 will be upgraded to 2 plus 1. The value of div was 2. Now here it is changing to be 2 plus 1, that is 3. क्योंकि इसको तब तक चेक करते जाना है, पहले 2 होगा फिर 3 होगा फिर 4 होगा. अगर हमने 5 दिया है तो 2 3 4 तक ये चेक करेगा, जबकि 4 5 पे चला जाएगा तो ये क्या करेगा, ये प्रिंट प्राइम नंबर कर देगा. ठीक है, तो हम क्या करेंगे, हम ये जो 2 था वो 2 अपग्रेड होके 3 हो चुका है, तो 3 भी ये नो आएगा, और यहाँ पे इस 5 को अगर 3 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो वो 0 नहीं आएगा. फिर ये लूप घूमेगा, and the loop will go on continuing until this div and 5 becomes equal. Once it is equal it will be yes, and this will be the prime number. We will print it. फिर से एक बार समझा देती हूँ. We will start it. उसके बाद हम एक नंबर लेंगे. Let us consider this time to be 6. Okay. Now let div equals to 2, हमने 2 कर दिया, और फिर देखेंगे क्या 2 greater than n है, तो no, of course 2 is not greater than 6. So here we will take out the percentage, that is we will take out the remainder. If 6 divided by 2 gives a remainder of 0, we will see yes, because 6 is divided by 2 when it is 3 as a quotient. So we will see yes, and it will go out to be yes, and it will print it is not prime number. Then the program will exit. Now अगर हम 6 के जगह 7 ले लेते तो ऑफ कोर्स 2 से ये रिमाइंडर 0 नहीं होता, तो वो नो पे चला जाता, तो 2 को छोड़ के वो 3 पे जाता, क्योंकि 2 plus 1 से अपग्रेड हो जाता. फिर ये चेक करता, नहीं होता. 3 पे जाके 4 हो जाता, नहीं होता. 5 हो जाता, नहीं होता. 6 हो जाता, नहीं होता. Once it goes to the 7 part, तो यहाँ पे क्या होता, ये जो है ये एग्जीक्यूट यहाँ पे ना इक्वल्स टू भी होता, बिकॉज वंस इट गेट्स टू बी इक्वल टू एंड ग्रेटर देन, तो ये यहाँ पे प्रिंट कर देगा प्राइम नंबर. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा मैंने मिस्टेक कर दिया, div विल बी ग्रेटर देन इक्वल्स टू n हो जाएगा, तो यहाँ पे जो कंडीशन है वो yes हो जाएगा, और ये प्रिंट प्राइम नंबर कर देगा. वी विल सी द pseudo code of this program. So first we will start the program, and then we will read the number, and then what we will do div is equals to 2. उसके बाद हम while ले रहे हैं, क्योंकि पिछले बार हमने रिपीट लिया था, तो while will be a greater option for a loop, because while is itself a loop. तो हम loop अगर while यूज करेंगे तो वो टेक्निकल टर्म आ जाएगा इसके अंदर. तो हम देखेंगे कि अगर n is greater than div, अगर n div से ज्यादा हो जाता है तो हम क्या करेंगे, इसके अंदर जाएंगे, फिर हम चेक करेंगे will n percentage div equals to 0, जबकि ये हो जाएगा, हम प्रिंट नॉट प्राइम कर देंगे, और ये जो while लूप है ना ये एंड हो जाएगा. और अगर ये इसमें नहीं किया तो ये एल्स पे जाएगा, तो div equals to div plus 1 जाएगा, फिर से ये यहाँ पे चेक करेगा, फिर ये कंडीशन फुलफिल हो गया तो ये एंड कर देगा while लूप को, नहीं तो फिर से इस पे जाएगा. तो once this condition will be fulfilled, it will end the while loop, and then it will be print prime number, and the program will be stopped. Next our program is write a program, input a number and print all the prime numbers till the number. तो अगर हमारे पास यूजर ने 10 दिया है तो 10 तक जितने भी प्राइम नंबर्स है हमको सब उसको प्रिंट करवाना है. ये थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोग्राम है, तो पहले हमको क्या करना है, एक नंबर को इनपुट करवाना है, उसके बाद विल क्रिएट अ लूप स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 2. तो 2 से हमें स्टार्ट करवाना है, कि 2 से क्यों, एज 2 इज द फर्स्ट प्राइम नंबर, तो हम 2 से स्टार्ट करवाएंगे एंड चेक वेदर इट इज प्राइम नंबर और नॉट. इफ द number is prime we will print it and come to the next number and check, or this loop will execute until the number starting from 2 will be just the previous of the input number. Once the number exceeds the input number, the loop will break. Like that only that we have done in the previous program. सो लेट अस मूव इनटू द फ्लो चार्ट। तो पहले हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, उसके बाद हम इनपुट द नंबर करेंगे। तो लेट अस अज्यूम कि हमारे यूजर ने हमें 10 नंबर दिया है, तो हम यहाँ पे दो चीजों को डिफाइन करेंगे। नाउ दिस विल नॉट बी कांस्टेंट एज इट विल बी अपग्रेडिंग इटसेल्फ इनसाइड द प्रोग्राम। तो नम इक्वल्स टू 2 और div इक्वल्स टू 2। तो नम इक्वल्स टू 2 क्यों लिए? नम वो नंबर है जो प्रिंट होते जाएगा, जिसको हम चेक करते जाएंगे। जैसे कि हम 10 तक ऑल द प्राइम नंबर्स हमें प्रिंट करवाना है, तो हमें 2 से चेक करवाना होगा, क्योंकि 2 इज द स्मॉलेस्ट प्राइम नंबर या फर्स्ट प्राइम नंबर। तो हमको 2 से चेक करवाना पड़ेगा, फिर 2 से 3 पे जाएगा, 3 से 4 पे जाएगा, 4 से 5 पे जाएगा। तो क्या होगा, वो अंदर अपने आप को चेंज करता जाएगा, बट हम लेंगे 2 से ही उसको। और div इक्वल्स टू 2, क्योंकि डिवाइड करने के लिए हमको 2 ही लेना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि 1 और खुद से तो वो हर नंबर डिविजिबल होता है, तो इसलिए div इक्वल्स टू 2 लिए है। अब पहला जो चीज होगा, वो हमको नम को ना देखना पड़ेगा कि वो n से छोटा है कि नहीं, क्योंकि हमको क्या बोला गया कि 10 के अंदर जितना भी प्राइम नंबर्स होगा वो सब हमें प्रिंट करवाना है। तो वंस इट एक्सीड्स 10, तो वो वहां पे प्रिंट नहीं होगा, क्योंकि हम 11 तक उसको चेक नहीं कर सकते, हमको 10 तक चेक करना पड़ेगा। लाइक अगर 9 प्राइम नंबर हुआ तो हम 9 तक करके निकल जाएंगे प्रोग्राम से, हम उसके बाद नहीं जा सकते। तो पहले हमको ये चेक करवाना पड़ेगा कि क्या ये जो 2 है ये क्या 10 से छोटा है, तो ऑफकोर्स ये छोटा है। उसके बाद हम वो प्राइम वाला जो लूप था ना उसको चलाएंगे। तो यहाँ पे इक्वल्स टू हो जाएगा, ये गलती हो गया मुझसे, तो यहाँ पे आप इक्वल्स टू लगा देना कि क्या div लेस देन इक्वल्स टू नम है। अगर है तो उसको वो देखेगा कि इक्वल्स टू 0 होता है कि नहीं। अगर 0 हो जाएगा तो ये यहाँ पे नम इक्वल्स टू नम प्लस 1 कर देगा, और अगर नहीं हुआ तो div इक्वल्स टू div प्लस 1 कर देगा। क्योंकि अगर ये 0 नहीं हुआ तो बार बार इसको चेक करेंगे कि ये 0 होगा कि नहीं होगा। अगर नहीं हुआ तो अच्छा है, तो ये प्रिंट नम कर देगा, मतलब ये एक प्राइम नंबर हो गया। ठीक है, तो हम यहाँ पे उसको प्रिंट करवा देंगे, उसके बाद नम को एक नंबर से अपग्रेड कर देंगे। तो ये प्रोग्राम आपको समझ में आ गया होगा। हम फिर से इसको समझा देते हैं। पहले आपको स्टार्ट करना है, उसके बाद हमको एक नंबर को इनपुट लेना है, उसके बाद हमको दो चीजों को डिफाइन करना है, एक होगा नम और एक होगा div। नम इसलिए क्योंकि हमको 10 से स्मॉलर, मतलब जितना नंबर यूजर देगा उससे स्मॉलर नंबर्स को प्रिंट करवाना है। और div इक्वल्स टू 2, क्योंकि 2 से अगर नहीं कराएंगे तो 1 से और उस नंबर से, इस दोनों चीजों से हर नंबर डिविजिबल होता है, इसलिए हम 2 को लेंगे। और फिर पहला चीज जो होगा वो हमको नम को क्या होगा वो चेक करना पड़ेगा कि वो n से छोटा है कि नहीं। अगर छोटा है तो हम वो प्राइम वाला लूप यहाँ पे चलाएंगे, और यहाँ पर अगर प्राइम नंबर वो निकल गया तो उसको हम प्रिंट करवाएंगे। उसको हम क्या करेंगे, ये जो नम है ना, ये नम को एक नंबर से इंक्रीज कर देंगे, क्योंकि हमको 10 तक तो जाना होगा ना। तो ये 2 होके 3 हो जाएगा, 3 फिर अपग्रेड होके 4 हो जाएगा, 5 6 7 8 9 9 तक ये ऐसे चलेगा। और जबकि ये इससे बड़ा हो जाएगा ना, 10 हो जाएगा, तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, एग्जिट कर जाएगा। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे उस चीज को हमको फॉलो करना है। तो जहां की यहाँ पे ये 0 हो गया तो वो प्राइम नंबर नहीं होगा, तो वो नेक्स्ट नंबर पे स्किप कर जाएगा। एंड वंस इट कम्स आउट टू बी 0, तो हम क्या करेंगे, div को एक नंबर से इंक्रीज कर देंगे, क्योंकि हमको बार बार उसको चेक करना पड़ेगा। तो वंस इट कम्स आउट कि ये प्राइम नंबर हो गया, तो मतलब इसको प्राइम नंबर को प्रिंट करवाना पड़ेगा, और फिर नम को एक नंबर से इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा। आई होप कि ये प्रोग्राम आपके लिए एकदम ईजी एंड क्लियर हो गया होगा। नेक्स्ट हम इसी चीज को स्यूडो कोड में देखेंगे। तो पहले हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, उसके बाद हम नंबर को रीड करेंगे, फिर हम दो चीजों को ले लेंगे, एक नम इक्वल्स टू 2, div इक्वल्स टू 2। उसके बाद यहाँ पे आप देख पा रहे हैं कि हमने एक लूप चलाया है कि while n is less than num do क्या करना, उसके अंदर फिर से एक लूप चलेगा कि while div is less than n, if n is divisible by div क्या करना है, num इक्वल्स टू num प्लस 1, else हमें क्या करना है, div इक्वल्स टू div प्लस 1। ठीक है, अगर n से डिविजिबल हो जा रहा है तो हमें क्या करना है, नम को एक नंबर से इंक्रीज कर देना है। और अगर ये डिविजिबल नहीं होगा तो हमको बार बार वो चेक करवाना पड़ेगा। तो हम क्या करेंगे, div को एक नंबर से इंक्रीज करेंगे, तो div इक्वल टू div प्लस 1 जब हो जाएगा। और उसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे, एंड कर देंगे while लूप को, और फिर जो नंबर होगा उसे प्रिंट कर देंगे, और नंबर को num प्लस 1 मतलब एक नंबर से इंक्रीज कर देंगे, और ये जो प्रोग्राम है इसको हम एंड कर देंगे। नेक्स्ट हमारी ये कुछ होमवर्क है, तो आई विल एक्सपेक्ट कि आप ये होमवर्क अपने से करें, और अगर नहीं होगा तो आप मुझे रिक्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। मैं जो नेक्स्ट वीडियो है उसमें होमवर्क्स को सबको सॉल्व करके दिखा दूंगी। तो आई होप कि ये जो होमवर्क्स है, कुछ मैंने थोड़ा सा हाई लेवल का दिया, थोड़ा एकदम इजी लेवल का दिया है, तो आप खुद से सबको एकदम सॉल्व करें, उसके बाद हाई लेवल्स का भी सॉल्व करें। नहीं होगा तो ऑफकोर्स आई एम देयर, आई विल हेल्प यू टू सॉल्व इट आउट। आप जितना खुद से सॉल्व कर पाएंगे, जितना भी करेंगे, अगर ऐसा भी हुआ कि डाउट हुआ कि ये सही है कि नहीं है, तो आप मुझे भेज सकते हैं पर्सनली इन टेलीग्राम और इन द ग्रुप। आई विल हेल्प यू आउट, आई विल चेक इट इफ इट इज राइट और नॉट। सो आई विल एक्सपेक्ट दैट होमवर्क आप खुद से करें, क्योंकि जब तक आप उस चीज को अपने से नहीं सोचेंगे ना, तो तब तक आप उस चीज के बारे में वो जो फ्लो होगा उसको आप नहीं इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते, क्योंकि हर जगह हमें ये फ्लो को ही सोचना पड़ेगा, हर जगह इन्हीं टाइप के क्वेश्चंस को हमें सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा। सिर्फ वहाँ हर लैंग्वेज का सिंटैक्स थोड़ा अलग हो जाएगा। तो हमको क्या करना है, यही जो होमवर्क होगा ना, हर एक प्रॉब्लम को खुद से सॉल्व करना है, उसको अटेम्प्ट करना है। और अगर नहीं होगा तो ऑफ कोर्स आई एम देयर, अगर ऐसा एकदम नहीं होगा तो आप लोग मुझे रिक्वेस्ट भेज सकते हो। तो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स का रिक्वेस्ट आएगा, तो मैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो जो है सब जो होमवर्क होगा सबको एकदम अच्छे से सॉल्व करके दिखाऊंगी। और अगर आपको पर्सनली कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो आप टेलीग्राम में भेज सकते हो मुझे। सो लेट मी रिपीट दिस अगेन कि अगर टेलीग्राम में जुड़ना है तो नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में लिंक होगा, वहाँ पे आप टेलीग्राम में हमारे ग्रुप में जुड़ सकते हैं। वहाँ पे नोट्स सब दिए जाएंगे और पर्सनल गाइडेंस मेरा रहेगा, बाकी स्टूडेंट्स रहेंगे, सब अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू वहाँ पे रख सकते हैं। आज के लिए इतना ही, थैंक यू, लेट्स मीट इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो।